What's up, Marwen fans? This is Raphael from C Manga, and welcome back to another review of the Breaker New Waves. This week's chapter 183. So this was a very interesting chapter this week, in particular for the fact that we got to delve into Jung Chan's mind a bit and understand a bit more of why he is the character he is. And it's actually quite interesting, and I wouldn't say I sympathize with him. I still don't like the character. I mean, he is the leader of the SUC. He's the reason that Shi-Woon's mum is in hospital, but at the same time I can pity him and I'd say understand why he acted the way he did from this flashback we were shown in this chapter, which was very good. As I said, I'd like, delving into characters' backgrounds and finding a bit more information in the story. So in this flashback we see Jung Chan's in the Cheongdumon. He's in his typical martial arts outfit, a gi or whatever you call it, and he's been told that So-Chun is going to be appointed to be the next heir of the Cheongdumon. No new information there, we already knew that. But Jung Chan actually isn't bothered by this. He was somewhat pestered by Jae-Gal. We could see the manipulation started there. He's asking him like, oh, don't you think you would be better for the role? And Jung Chan's like, no, I'm not bothered. Why would I be bothered? It's expected for So-Chun to be the next leader. He's a genius, and who else would do it? So we see that Jung Chan actually has good intentions. He intended to support So-Chun when he becomes the new leader and improve the Cheongdumon beside him. But Jae-Gal, as I said, starts his manipulation at this point and states that if he carries on thinking with that mentality, he's going to be deemed worthless and eventually become a nobody. And this is where you can see why Jung Chan is so manipulated, because Jae-Gal has started this from ages ago, and the current events now show how under the thumb Jung Chan is under Jae-Gal. He's literally just a pawn in a part of his plans. So Jae-Gal even further goes on to elaborate, saying that he dueled for the position of heir of the Cheongdumon 30 years ago and was in prison for when he was losing, and he said when he came out nobody knew of him, he was a nobody, and Jung Chan will suffer the same fate. But Jung Chan still actually doesn't break. His resolve is still firm. He says despite So-Chun being seeming quite cold-hearted, he has faith in him and doesn't think he'll be tossed aside. One thing I want to just cut away from quickly is 30 years ago seems to be like a staple in this series. Quite a few things have been mentioned happening 30 years ago. We see Jae-Gal, as we see in this chapter, was in prison. Eloquon's master was killed 30 years ago. Ju San-sik had his final duel 30 years ago, and the Blood and Bone School was almost ruined. Almost ruined the Murin 30 years ago. I think there was some other things, but I can't remember them. But it seems like 30 years ago, something, quite a few interesting events happened, and I wonder, if we'll delve into that as well, get a flashback or something before the series ends, because it seems like there's a lot of stuff that happened back then, and it seems like kind of like the lost years that we haven't been told yet. So as I said, back onto the flashback, we see another flashback with Jung Chan, and he's with So-Chun and the current leader, and So-Chun's explaining his experiences in the world to the world leader, and as well as he's meeting and visiting Shi-Woon, and he even further goes on to tell the leader that if Shi-Woon's key center hadn't broken back then, he would have been a decent rival to him. And this surprises the leader, as he said that's the first time he's ever referred to anyone as a rival. But he says, isn't his brother Jung Chan good enough as a rival? And this is the turning point where Jung Chan becomes the Jung Chan we know today, when he unfortunately mistakes what So-Chun says to him as a misunderstanding, and he could see there's some sort of jealousy towards Shi-Woon as well, because So-Chun says he's never actually thought of Jung Chan that way. And obviously, this was a jealous misunderstanding on Jung Chan's part, thinking, what, so you see Shi-Woon as something special but not me? It's like I'm nothing important. It's like Jae-Gal was right. And from what I saw, So-Chun actually most likely just saw him as a valuable brother, someone he cares about, and we've seen that in this series. He does value Jung Chan despite the fact that he's an arsehole towards him. So I don't think it's I don't see him as nothing. He's not worthy of being my rival. I see it as I respect him. I don't want him to be my rival because I never want to fight him. But you know, he's obviously seen it one way. So-Chun has said it for another way, and that's what he meant. So as planned, you might as well say by Jae-Gal, Jung Chan has, you might as well say, gone to the dark side and become corrupted. He says, how he asked Jae-Gal, how can he be kept from forgotten, you know, and how can he, you might as well say, affirm himself and keep his status as being a somebody instead of a nobody. And we even further see this in the later in the fight, how you might as well say paranoid and inferior he feels, because I did mention before in another review where I think Jung Chan has a inferiority complex and is paranoid about his status in the Marine world. And I even remember there was a chapter where he thought his position of commander really meant something, but he's merely being used by Jae-Gal. When he tried to say something, Jae-Gal just shut him down, and as a commander he's obviously thinking I should have the last say, but it's like, nope, Jae-Gal says what he wants, you do as he says, you're just a lapdog. And we can see this coming out more and more in this chapter. So onto the fight itself. Fight was brilliant. It's funny because, as everyone had expected, the kick was blocked by Jung Chan, and he actually realizes that Shi-Woon was baiting him on all this time. As I said last time, I definitely think Shi-Woon was leading him on and observing the fight, not just going crazy, and you know, like he usually doesn't get him beaten to a pulp. So Jung Chan responds to this by trying to swing Shi-Woon around, but Shi-Woon instantly retaliates with that quick thinking and quick mover with an amazing counter, and it's like he twisted his leg, kicked off of Jung Chan, and then he counters with this the phantom kick, leaving everyone in awe. It was a powerful kick. You could tell there was a lot of ki used in that, and it was amazing, and Jung Chan just about dodged it. As I said, even Chun-Woo was amazed by this, and I think it's because this is a technique that Chun-Woo has used before. I think I remember seeing it before, but I can't remember where. But as he's, you know, his followers have said, oh, didn't the boss use something like this before? So it's clear that Chun-Woo has definitely used this, and seeing Shi-Woon use this has obviously surprised him. But that's more, you know, points for him saying, yep, I'm the Nine Arch Dragon's disciple. So it was funny though that when they mentioned, oh, he was hiding this ace in the hole all this time, when really this is only one of the several moves he has. He still hasn't used other techniques like the KO Heaven's Destruction Strike, the Black Origin Threshold, or the Soul Crushing Strike, and several other things like that. So Shi-Woon now at this point has taken the initiative and turned the tables, you might say, on Jung Chan. Starts going on the offensive, throwing lots of flurries of attacks towards him, and Jung Chan basically is forced to try and attempt to end it with a Chondumon secret technique. And I was so, I'd say, ecstatic at this part. Shi-Woon easily parries and cancels out the technique. It's like he pushed his palm and then slams it down with a Chondumon technique of his own, shocking Jung Chan. He's like, where did you learn that our technique? And it was funny because Shi-Woon was like, oh, it's just as I thought. Your moves are nothing compared to So-Chun hooks, and that just completely burnt him, and he's just like, oh my god, how could this guy say this to me? And then after the whole flashback that I just explained, we see Jung Chan's basically thinking, I'm not going to be forgotten, I'm going to you know, keep my place, I won't go down without a fight. And it's like he refuses to disappear, and he's going to beat Shi-Woon at all costs. So you can tell, as I said, Jung Chan has definitely got inferiority complex. He cares about his status quite a lot. Shi-Woon is slapping him around now, not only physically but mentally. He is scarring him, and the burn he got from that comment about So-Chun being much better than him dug deep, definitely cut deep. So I'm definitely enjoying this fight. The dialogue is good, and I definitely think it's going to come to an end soon. So it's really good this way this fight's going. I'm enjoying it. It's great to see Shi-Woon is, you know, taking the initiative and is on top of this fight and fighting very smart, using everything he's learned in the past before now, and he's displaying it all for Chun-Woo to see, so everyone will know he is the true Nine Arch Dragon's disciple. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. As I said, great chapter today. artwork is always on point, flashback was brilliant, dialogue is always great, and I can't wait to see you next week. So you guys know the usual, leave your comments in the comment box below. Also check out our channel for more content, and I'll speak to you guys next week.